Welcome to the OFX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton, and along with me, as always, is our wise woman of Wallballs, Bethany McChesney. And I'm going to start out right away. I'm going to say, and I posted this on Facebook, just like yesterday was my birthday.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday.
Thank you. And thank you to like everybody, because I got like way more messages and posts and stuff than I ever have before. So thank you for everyone to taking the time. And that was really sweet and I appreciate it. But I overdid it. And now I feel like crap today.
Too much pizza?
Yeah. You know, most people go on their birthday getting drunk. I had way too much pizza and I was like, it was a mess. I was terrible this morning. I was like, oh, I really felt hungover and
a pizza hangover.
I had this pizza hangover. I got to work and I'm like, normally I get there like 20 minutes early and I just sit in the car and, you know, get ready. And I couldn't, I had to go in right away because I had to go to the bathroom. It was like, it's just, so yeah, it was good. Do you get like, so I used to be able to eat like, you know, 6 double quarter pounders and that was fine. It was no problem. Mm-hmm. Now I eat somewhat decently. I don't want to say really well, but like somewhat decently. And I'm just a candy ass. Like anything puts me out. I can't believe it. Like, do you get that way?
Well, I do find the cleaner that you eat, the more you're affected by bad eating.
But it's supposed to make you stronger.
Yeah, but I think it's like you feel so good when you eat so well, and then when you eat like crap, it's like it's just dramatized how bad it is sometimes.
Yeah, I know, like you always hear, like you can't outwork a bad diet or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now it's just like I can't have a bad diet because I can't even take that. So the worst part is, if I ever stop working out, I can't have a bad diet anyway. It just sucks. So
yeah,
I don't think I can ever become the old fat guy because I just don't know that my body can take it anymore. It's kind of sad and depressing. I was made fun of very much at work, you know, because I work construction and these guys are like, they can drink a 2-4 the night before, come to work somehow completely straight-laced, sober, and feel fantastic. And I can't have 4 slices of pizza. In fairness,
it's all tolerance, Dave.
It was more like 10, not 4.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, how are you doing? How's like, because we haven't talked about like just you and I in a long time. How's like your training going and your recovery? Because, you know, January 22nd is coming quick.
Yeah, so we're 5 weeks now till Chicago Hyrox. This is probably the most patient and progressive program I've ever actually done, which is somewhat frustrating and maddening, but at the same time, it's been pretty good for me. So yeah, we're like, I don't know, 6 to 7 weeks into a really intensive Hyrox focus training block. And the last week or two have been the most intense and I'm definitely feeling it. And just kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. So I'm back to running a fair bit. I did my first proper speed workout on the weekend. And I would say actually like an actual intentional speed workout, almost a year, which sounds crazy that it's been that long. And it felt great. So I think it also goes to show you how much you can just maintain fitness with doing everything else with, like, you know, gym stuff. So intensity in the gym without running, and aerobic things outside of running. Yeah, I felt really good and I was still hitting pretty decent paces and my Achilles held up okay. It's been a little bit, I felt it a tiny bit this week, but I think it's also, I'm hypersensitive to it. So I'm like, am I a little bit like freaked out just because, or is this something to think about? So anyways, usually I give it a 24, 48 hours. And then if it's gone, then I'm fine. And because there's this element of having the tissues just get ready to the added load, which I think is just kind of where I'm at right now. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this little build here. I have these days where I feel like I'm really not ready to do a Hyrox in 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then I have some days where I'm super pumped about it and I feel really ready. So maybe that's just the normal progression.
Do you, and I've had this before. I don't know if I'd call it injury, but do you have injury PTSD? Like
Yes.
where you're,
I
it's
feel like a
usually like a
tiny
little
tweak.
tweak. You're,
Yes. That's exactly what I'm going through right now. Like a tiny little twinge in my Achilles and I like meltdown mode.
so I don't know if I talked about it before, but when or on here, I'm sure I mentioned it somewhere, but who cares? I'll be repetitive.
Hmm.
When I first decided it was time to get into getting a little more healthy and a little more fit, was because I was dealing with some horrible sciatic stuff. I mean, it hit me really hard, and it was getting to the point where I was struggling to drive to work. Like I had a really long commute. It was like an hour and 20-minute commute, and I'd wake up and I'd be like, all the way down my leg, all the way down my lower back sore. And then I'd get in the car and I'd drive. And of course, I had a standard at the time, and that made it worse.
Yeah.
And then I drive there, and I could barely get out of the car when I got there. And then I would have to like hobble around for like 10 minutes before I could get moving. And it was just sore all day. And eventually one day I was like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., something in the middle of the night. And I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed. I was in so much pain and agony. And it was just me and my son in the house at the time. He was like maybe 8 or 7. He was pretty young. I had to call the ambulance, and
Uh,
I couldn't get up, and they pumped me full of drugs. And that was kind of like my wake up call that I had to, get a little serious. So anytime
mhm.
anyone's ever asked me what my motivation is to keep going, and it's fear. It's all it
Right.
is. It's not
Yeah.
determination. It's fear. I am totally afraid to ever have something like that again. And sometimes you'll feel like just a little twinge or a little something. And I go right into that PTSD. I'm like freaked right out. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I gotta stretch, I gotta move, I gotta mobility, I gotta do all that stuff. And it kills me. So I totally relate to PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I get on my phone and I'm texting like my RMT and my osteopath and my chiro, and I'm like, I feel tightness. They're like, okay, but like, what am I gonna do about it? Like, they're like, it's just part of the process. I'm like, okay, I just have to have you tell me that.
I just need my reassurance.
Yeah.
So you do
Yeah,
it.
but like, yeah, it's been over a year of this pain, and nothing terrifies me more than it coming back, and then going 6 weeks in the boot and not being able to do anything really. Like that would be the worst case scenario if it came back. But I've had some really good advice from people in the OCR world too, who've given me like really amazing programs and shared their stories with ACL or Achilles recovery, and yeah, so I'm also very hopeful that like following these protocols that I should be fine and it can get strong again. The key is to just be patient, which I think I've done pretty good job up to this point. And having a coach again really, really helps make sure that I don't overdo it and get a little bit too excited.
Because you didn't have a coach before when you did get all excited, right? The accountability is great. The accountability is great.
I I know, I did, but I'm also I get excited very easily.
The accountability is fantastic from a coach. It's if you're out there and you want to do your OCR or whatever, your hybrid races seriously, like get one. It's money well spent. It's a
Yeah,
lot better than spending it on different gadgets and gizmos and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah. Well, and I'm a coach myself, but we are not our best coaches of ourselves because you need someone else like talking into your life about um for ultimately for athletes. I find the biggest thing is we need someone telling us when to rest and when to take it easy, because there's this like underlying mentality of more is always better, and like you push through things, and like pain is just meant to be. So I think when you have a person on the other side who's reminding you that like the rest is okay and the rest is necessary, I ultimately think for athletes that's one of the biggest things. It's not always necessarily to get you going, which it is sometimes, but I think sometimes it's to give you permission to just take it easy.
I always need someone to tell me that I have to do other workouts than the ones I just want to do.
Yeah. Yes, Dave. You can't just do grip all the time.
Leon says I can. I like doing other workouts. Actually, you know what? Here, I want you to explain science to me because I've always struggled with this and I know it's wrong, but no one has really explained the science. So when we train to run, right? Essentially, if you've got like your easy days, your speed work, your tempo work, right? And kind of like your long run. Why can I not do like kind of those OCR 400s in that same vein, where I do like an easy one, a long one, a speed one, a tempo one? Why won't that work? I don't understand that.
What do you mean OCR 400s?
Well, so like 400 meters jump on an obstacle, 400 meters jump on an obstacle, 400 meters do some workout, an exercise station, something like that. So instead of just doing straight running, doing that for every workout, but breaking it down where, one's a speed one, one's a tempo one, one's a long run one. The other ones are just easy recovery ones.
So all of your workouts then are essentially like an interval workout in and out of obstacles.
Yes, but you're still going to maintain the same heart rate. So for example, if you're doing a tempo run, right? So then say you want to run it, and tempo run, that's another thing I always get confused of. But from my understanding, a tempo run is something that should be a pace you can hold for an hour. Is that about right?
Yeah, 60 minutes. Yeah.
So, I'm going to maintain that same intensity level and heart rate when I jump off onto an obstacle and jump back on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Whereas on a slower one, I'm going to maintain that slower, easier pace. So I'm just curious behind the science why that won't work.
Well, it's not to say it won't work because ultimately, like everything is extremely relative. But ultimately, I think because you're going to get very efficient too in certain places. So ultimately, the training effect that you're looking for is probably going to be best achieved if you keep running, because your heart rate is going to lower back down during obstacles. So to get that 60 minutes or however long of your actual tempo, you're probably just going to have to avoid the obstacles because almost, especially for you, it's a recovery. So then you're not.
I have to go through them pretty fast to keep the heart rate up. I can do it, but yeah, I have to fly through them.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, you could if at this point in our lives too, I think you have to do what you really, really enjoy. So if you're like, I do not want to do this, I hate it, then okay, we'll adjust. But I think when you're looking at training effect, ultimately to keep that heart rate in that tempo zone, you probably have to keep running.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the real key is I just get bored on tempo runs.
Yeah. Okay. So then really what you're training, Dave, is your mental state.
But I can counteract that point because I never run a long race where I don't stop and do an obstacle or a workout in between. So I don't need that mental.
Okay.
Anyway, I mean, obviously I follow the rules. I'm following the direction. But one day, I think I might like to experiment with this, and I'll take a year, 1 year, and I'll just train that way and just see how bad or good it goes. Because I mean, who cares?
Well, why not?
I'll do it when I'm 49, right before I jump into the next stage, right? So that I can see how that works. Which is only 3 years away. So I got lots of, I don't know. I just think it should work. I've asked some other people. I've asked a lot of other people about it, and everybody tells me, "Oh no, that's not it." I even went to Dylan Scott because I thought if anyone's going to back me on this, Dylan Scott will. And no, he still takes runs, bastard. You said about grip work too. So and I want to steal that thing from you that we got from duonamic. Is that
right? Yeah.
I want to steal that thing and I want to try it because I just saw Megita is using it now too. And I want to take a shot and see how it works for certain stuff and to play with it. I do think it's a cool thing. I want to,
honestly, it's a great tool for home workout. So I do have it here in my basement and it's really handy. I like that the handles move. So one of the biggest issues with a lot of pull-up work is having a rigid bar. Because we have our shoulders, again, it's like an extremely movable joint. So as you're pulling, the handles that move help move a little bit more in your shoulders. So it's just preventing injuries in that locked position in the pull. So I do like it a lot. And even you can slide the handles wider or closer, whatever you're kind of focused on training.
I think we're getting some rings as well to add for like where you'll be able to do like push-ups, dips, incline.
Oh, like long.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's a cool little thing. Anyway, I just wanted to see if you were using it because mostly I want to steal it for a while.
I will bring it by.
So have you done any Hyrox sims yet?
I haven't done a full Hyrox sim. I am talking about
close to being able to do it now.
No, I can do it now. Like my running volume is up to that level. The hardest thing, honestly, for a Hyrox sim is having the space that has everything. Because I don't have that in my gym, because of the sled situation. I think I have a gym I could get everything except the ski erg. So again, like that's honestly the hardest thing for me is just finding a gym that has everything in place in one spot where you can make this work. But yeah, I'll get as close to as possible. The last time I did a Hyrox, I'd never done a full sim, which is okay. I do a fair amount of still like high intensity stuff. Everything I'm doing right now is still all of the Hyrox movement. So, I mean, that's okay. Honestly, the full Hyrox sim does take a lot out of you. It's like when you're training for a marathon too, you don't do a marathon all the time training for the marathon because the recovery time that it takes to come out of that takes away from the training in between. So it's not always necessary depending on where your training volume is. And because of where my training volume has been coming back from my injury, to do a full sim might just take too much out of my body to really fully recover. We're down to 5 weeks now. So I don't know if I'll do a full one before the actual event.
Could you not like put the sled like outside your gym?
So then we're looking at like the pavement in the parking lot, which is really different.
Yeah. But I mean, you'd have to probably load a lot of weight on like, I don't know. It might work. I got it anyway. The reason I'm slated to do, it's not a full sim either, but like a partial sim next Thursday. But I'm not doing 8 stations. I'm just doing 6 and taking a 3-minute break in between in the middle kind of thing. And obviously I've had help setting this up. This is not all my idea, or I would know more about it. But I have to take out 2 things. Now, luckily, one's going to be the ski erg because, well, I don't have one. And then I'm not sure. I probably was going to take the farmer carry out because, well, I mean, that's just straight grip strength and I'm pretty solid for that. And I'm not really worried about the farmer carry.
Yeah.
I would think that would be the one to take out. I don't know if you have any other idea or would do anything different, but it seems to me to be the right one.
Yeah, that would probably make the most sense. Like your ski erg is early anyways, right? It's the first thing. The farmer's carry, yeah, you'll be fine. If I was going to take 2 things out, that would make the most sense to me for sure.
Yeah. And if I did have to do the ski erg and not having to, I would probably just put the rowing machine in twice because it's a similar kind of feel, similar time wise too, is from my understanding. Like, you're going to be fairly close in time. I don't know. The whole thing, I don't really care about the time anyway. It's just to get a feel. It is what it is, and kind of pace myself properly and not die right away.
Yeah. Don't blow up early.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a fear. The biggest fear for me still though is a sled. Like until I push that thing and pull it, I have no idea. I've been working on it. I don't know, like some people have probably seen the one I made at home, been loading that up and it works pretty good. But the push is hard because either I have to kind of put rings over my shoulder and kind of really it's more of a pull, but using the same muscles as a push, or I have to go right down to the ground. And in that case, it's really hard to push anything heavyweight. Like, I mean, once you get over 200 pounds, it's so hard to move. So I don't know. I don't know what you would think would be better for that.
Yeah, like if you could at some point get to a situation where you could actually push something that looks similar to the way it works,
Yeah.
but um yeah, I mean you do the best that you can. Like before I did my first Hyrox, I had never pulled a sled with a rope. Um but again, you kind of think about the muscles that you simulate when you do it and do the best that you can in that situation. And then you kind of have to be aware then of the things that come up. Like when you're talking about the pole, like moving like the rope management, moving the rope out of the way. So as long as you're kind of aware of that with your first one, I think you'll be fine.
And that was one of the things Megita said to us was rope management key that, you know, it was something you wouldn't think about. And the other day, so I do have my sled set up pretty good for the pull. So I loaded like 400 pounds on it and I have a 25-foot rope and I'm able to start from 25 feet away from the sled. So that's a pretty comparable thing. And then I just backstepping like you would.
Yeah, you have a box of space.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and I was training with that, and I can't remember how many reps I did, but I only fell and tripped over the rope twice. So I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just lying there on my kitchen floor, boom, down. I was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yep, all part of the process."
It happened to me a few times, and then with the push, you think about you have 3 basic pushing positions.
Yeah.
So, and I kind of switched through the 2 of them that worked for me in the actual event, like straight arms, locked arms, and then the one where you have like bent arms.
Kind of that harder to into the pipes.
Yeah. So as long as you're aware of those things, and then if you could practice them even once or twice before, so you kind of get the feel for all of them.
And shoes make a difference.
Shoes, yeah. And then we see a lot more athletes using gloves also to help with the pull. Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that too. The other thing you can use too for the farmer's carries, it is within the rules to use like gymnastic wraps. Really? Yeah, I've never seen anything outlawing it. And if I don't find any reason, if I don't find anything that says I can't use it, then I will. Mm-hmm. But I got, so technically they were my birthday present, but I did get them a little early. It was a new pair of Ultra shoes. And I know I looked at your New Balance. I tried to find those. I couldn't find them anywhere. I looked for the Brooks that Hunter recommends. And again, that was a pain. And I'm sure I have mentioned this before, but I have nerve damage in the bottom of my left foot. And I find it very hard to find shoes that don't hurt that one foot. Right foot, I can put anything on. It's fantastic. The left foot is a pain. So, but I have found all of the Ultras work for me. I don't know why. I'm not like, you got to be zero drop. I'm not a loyal brand dude. It's just these ones don't hurt my foot. Mm-hmm. So I went with it and ordered a pair of which was Solstice is what I got now. Mm-hmm. And I tried a little comparison and I put the video on my Instagram, but with my Escalantes, I can't remember. I might be getting the names backwards, but anyway, I should probably be clear on that. But with my pair that I run in, which I think are the Escalantes, I could not even get I was just slipping. My feet were just I was spinning my wheels. Mm-hmm. And then the other ones just gripped like mad. Like it was night and day difference. If I had used those ones at Hyrox, I think I would have been one of those victims of the not even getting it going and trying to figure out how to find traction some way. I mean, it wasn't a power thing. It was just I couldn't get any grip. It was like your car in the snow, just spinning my wheels. Yeah. And the other ones, when I started walking, you could hear them gripping on the ground. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So shoes are big. I don't know. Are you doing your New Balance 1400s?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get a new pair. Like I have 2 pairs that are just a little bit older, and like that grip on the bottom is key. So I'll find another pair. But yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. I don't want to risk it. So last time I wore a pair of Under Armour, and I don't regret my shoe decision. But they were just really hot. So they were Under Armour. They were their winter running shoe, which actually has Michelin tire tread on the bottom. So
do my flip-flops.
Oh yeah. So they're super grippy. Yes. So same thing. It has the Michelin tire. So they were super grippy. But they were just a bit of a heavier, hotter shoe, like they're winter running shoes. But I was so terrified of slipping, pushing the sled. So they were great for the sled push, but they were just a little bit heavy for everything else. So yeah, this time I'll probably just try the New Balance 1400s.
Quick shoe side note, because I thought of this when I was listening to Atkins on a podcast with Matt in the drive home today, and he was, they've all been talking about shoes from Abu Dhabi.
Oh yes.
And all the sand in. I thought, I have a pair of Solomon Snowcross, and they have those built-in gaiters that just go tight around your ankle. And like unless it gets in between your ankle and the top of the gaiter, nothing gets in those shoes. It's unreal. Those might have been interesting. Yes, they would have been hot.
Yes.
But they should have kept the sand out. I'm surprised nobody went back, because I know Solomon makes another pair that's not quite as wintry, so they'd be thinner and a little more deal. But they have that zipper that zips up instead of just Velcro up the gaiter, so it keeps everything out. Get creative. What would you have wore over there? You've got experience too, so
yeah, like I lived there and I've run in the sand before, and if like the blisters that you get when the sand gets in even a little bit of sand gets in your shoe is like insane. But I never intentionally ran in the desert. So I never ran with that kind of gator. So I would have done my research appropriately, I would have assumed. But yeah, it seemed like basically if you didn't have a full shoe coverage that went halfway up your calf, and there was sand in your shoes, you were basically like in a tough position. So yeah, everyone seemed to kind of order in something that covered their whole shoe. And that was the best bet, because sand just kind of gets in everywhere. And like the sand out there in the dunes like that is also really dusty. So it gets in everywhere.
I heard Emma Clark too. She said she had one shoe was good and the other one wasn't. It was getting sand in it.
Oh, probably like even just a little seam or anything, it just gets in there.
Yeah. And then Leon sent me a picture of his feet, and it looked like my hands after shale hell. I mean, it was just, oh my God. I don't know. I could have kept moving. I would have called it a day. That would, yeah. Or gone to the barefoot or the socks or whatever.
Yeah. And there was a lot. I saw people too finishing in socks and bare feet, because once the sand gets in there and it starts to just displace your foot, just that's so painful. So at some point you kind of have to make the call. Are you going to be just dumping your shoes constantly, or do you just kind of take it and take your shoes off and run in your bare feet? So
yeah, I would have thought the sock thing or something, because just seeing the damage it caused, it was terrible. Like literally like sandpaper running on your feet the whole time.
Right. So, and this is something else that I thought about. This is something where Spartan could have also capitalized on this as an income opportunity. So you're sending all of these athletes out to race in the desert. Why didn't you then make a deal with a company that makes the perfect thing for running in the desert? And you say, everybody that orders this, we get like a 5% kickback. And then you're promoting these gaiters that are perfect for the desert. Instead of everybody doing their own research, ordering from all different places, Spartan is like, this is the company that we recommend. So then people who are trying to figure out what's best, they're just like, oh, Spartan recommends this, I'm ordering it. Spartan gets a kickback.
Yeah, I think that would have been a great idea, but I think Spartan struggles with shit like that.
It's like same thing with Tahoe. So you're talking about people are now going to be, what's the best gear for racing in this type of climate? These are the companies I recommend. The companies get on board. Like it's like a win-win for everybody. So you want people to be racing in these extreme situations, extreme cold, extreme heat. So, and gear is extremely important when you're in these type of situations. It's like a make or break. So why are you not then maybe working with these companies a little bit more to make sure that people are prepared so their experience isn't lost simply because they didn't have the right covers for their shoes?
Yeah, I don't know. And you know what? I think because you said that, think about what it's going to look like next year. Because I mean, we're under the assumption they're going back.
Yeah.
Think think about how much different it will be and how much better prepared people will be, and hopefully how much easier travel will be. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it'll be a completely different race. Just
Yeah.
I think you'll find too a lot of North American athletes will do better next year because they will be more prepared.
They'll know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, speaking of travel, so I listened to Lindsay today, and this is very relevant to you and I. So
Mhm.
apparently, right now, because I'm looking at information, and I still don't know if this is accurate, but she said that we can cross into the States without a test. And as long as we're back in 72 hours, we do not need a test at all.
Okay.
So that's really good if that's accurate.
And if that stays, because
Yeah. Yeah.
right now there's a lot of schools closing down. Um, and a lot of situations too where like my son plays competitive hockey where he's had his last bunch of games canceled because of COVID. And so it seems like it's escalating now. Um, and we've been told prepare for your kids not going back after Christmas break for an extended Christmas holiday.
You know what's funny is my kid's been out of school for like just this year, and I'm already completely out of touch with all of
Yeah, so it looks like there's going to be an extended break, 2 weeks after the Christmas holidays. So I feel like that could change as of this point.
Oh God, I hope not. But mind you, that's why I booked the hotel with the cancellation up to 48 hours before, 24 hours before, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
And I intend to use it if need be, and quickly if we need to get a. I'm sure Hyrox will do a deferral if we need to do that.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm all registered and booked for my hotel. How about you?
I haven't registered because I'm scared.
What are you scared of?
Well, I'm still on the fence about racing pro or open.
Yeah.
I'm still
Mm.
leaning towards pro. I'm just like, it's just touch and go, and I'm being overly cautious of my Achilles, but like I'm leaning towards pro. I'm just probably waiting a little bit.
It's the PTSD.
Yes.
It's totally. We actually joke around. We talk about my wife and I talk about relationship PTSD, like
Yeah.
from past relationships. And it's like, I'm so sorry. Well, that doesn't bother me. Okay. I thought it was supposed to bother you. I can't.
Yeah.
How many times that comes up? Relationship PTSD is real.
Yeah, I believe that. Mhm.
So when you were talking about you're getting your clients ready, because I kind of want to loop back to that for a sec. What do you do? And because I've had a couple of conversations lately about this, do you get your clients to dead hang, to do any dead hangs at all? Because there's a lot of dead hanging stuff going on in December. There's always that add 10 seconds a day dead hang thing going on. And then on our OCR tribe one, where we just plug, we're not that strict. We just do little contests and stuff for dead hangs. Do you get any of your clients to actually do dead hangs for preparation for Spartan or for whatever?
Mm, I don't really like to me, it's, I guess I try to get them learning movement across my rig
Mm-hmm.
more than dead hang stuff. We do dead hang and we do grip strength, but I guess the focus more is on the movement stuff.
I mean, it's mostly Aaron Newell, and we have discussions about this, and I don't disagree with him. I don't think, I mean, we the OCR stars, we think about Atkins dead hanging for 8 minutes. That's a great party trick,
That's insane. Yeah.
but it's also completely unnecessary. And I do a lot of grip strength and a ton of stuff, and I actually very rarely dead hang past a minute because
Yeah. No, me too. Because
it's
you also think about it's so much more than just like the ability to dead hang.
yeah,
Like you have your pull strength. But like if you can't move across a rig, then it doesn't really matter. So you have to be able to dead hang for 30 to 40 seconds, essentially, to be able to get across a rig. No rig really takes you longer than that. And then you're looking at bicep, back strength, grip, which is kind of those things also combined. But again, if you can't figure out the movement, then none of that really matters.
And that's why one of the things that we talk about too was transferring just from one hand to the other, right? Just because sometimes you can't access a rig all the time. Some people just have a small pull-up bar in their house. Some people have the duonamic system hanging from their door. But you can drop one arm, go to the other, and that will help you with the transfer.
Just shifting one hand to the other. Shoulder taps, hip taps. We do a lot of that stuff.
Okay. Because I mean, I just all that dead hanging stuff comes up, and I find that it has its place, but not as much as a lot of OCR people use it. And again, for me, I think you're almost better if you can dead hang for a minute. What you need to be doing is adding weight, transferring from arm to arm and adding weight.
Or then bringing it into a tucked position, toes to your bar and stuff like that.
And switching your grips, especially to vertical grips. And I do my Leon workouts all the time. And now some of the workouts I do entirely with vertical rope grips instead of using your classic pull-up bar, because that needs to be worked. So I was just curious because I hear different viewpoints. Like some people think it's great. Some people think it's like completely useless. I'm kind of probably somewhere in the middle. I don't know. But so I was wondering if you got your clients do, because I know you get a lot of beginner clients that want to do some of their first races. And that's where I do think it's useful is you can't get across the monkey bar if you can't hang for enough time to get across the monkey bar.
Yes.
So that's, I guess, where it starts.
We do a lot of TRX work. So we do a lot of TRX pulling also.
And do you find that translates well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And we put the TRX and doing a lot of different positions with the pulls. It's much less intimidating too, than hanging from the bar. So
I find that your gym set up cool because it's got what I've always called the three main obstacles. You've got three main rig type obstacles. You've got your rings, your rope climb, and your monkey bars. Because if you can get across all those, if you can get through those three, it sets you up pretty strongly for most situations.
Oh yeah.
The better you get, obviously, when you get really technical rigs, you get really technical, but the stronger and stronger you are at those other three things, the better you'll be. I like that. I wanted to say about a couple other things. A little bit about Canadian calendar stuff coming up. So in February, I think, February is, because this is early stuff. Sub-Zero for Dead End Race is in February. I can't remember exactly what date.
Okay.
So that's, I believe there's a 6K and a 12K through the snow, if we have any, because it's crazy winter. But it's a really good race, and it is a legit race. That'll be the good. Samuel Lee Bear won that last year, to no surprise. And then one of our favorite RX1 has White Fury or Fury Blanche. It's a 24-hour team hybrid race in the winter.
Outside?
Yeah. Now, there's a transfer area that's inside. So it's kind of relay style. And you can actually do as well. You can do a 6-hour or 12-hour as well. So you can do shorter ones. But it's you do a 4-person team, and it's like a relay style. And then your transfer areas inside. So you can get warm when you're not doing your part of the running and stuff like that. So it's kind of really interesting and yet really scary. I would find that really weird. I don't know. I thought about it. Sadly, I think it's the same day as Hyrox is. So I will not be able to attend because I was planning to go until I saw the dates. So maybe if we can't cross the border, then I'll figure out a way to go do that one. But it's worth checking out and looking into because it's kind of scary, but it sounds like a lot of fun.
So how many people in the relay?
4.
Okay.
So if you're doing a 6-hour one, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's not intimidating, but a 24-hour one, because what I'm understanding is that the workout movements, I mean, you're not going to have like 170-pound cleans and stuff like that. They're going to be fairly lower level so that people can survive.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, like, I mean, even if you're just hitting a couple of rounds of push-ups for 24 hours on a relay, you're going to get whacked.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would like to see it one time. That's definitely something I'd like to go to. I don't know when I'll get to it, and like I said, it probably won't be this year, but I just thought it deserved mention because RX1 still doesn't get a lot of talk because, again, it's all French still. They're working on it. They keep saying going to fix that, but it's not there yet. So yeah, definitely worth checking out RX1. It's still big. My big A race thing, or one of my 2 A races is RX1 this year. So I don't know. So I think we're okay. I think we can call it early tonight, so I can go to bed because I'm still suffering from my pizza hangover.
Yeah, no, that's good.
It's good. And we have some big stuff coming up. I'm not really going to say any of it because, it's constantly floating. Last week, we weren't supposed to have Megiddo, and we did. These things happen. We'll just keep flowing. And I just want to say thanks to everyone again for reaching out for all the nice things you said, all the birthday wishes, and again for keeping us going. We're almost a year now. And
we're coming up to a year in January.
It's been a lot of fun. We've met some amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure we'll do like a year in review show. So we won't go through all that now, but
yeah, we should do that.
Absolutely. But anyway, thanks to everybody. And we'll talk to you next week.